Really good blood. All the way through. What'd you find?
Black.
Yeah, that's a good size, honey. All right, welcome back to Huge Nuge Outdoor Adventures. It's March 28th, and we're a few days away from the Alberta Spring Black Bear season. April 1st, we get started here, so I'm out a little bit early to set up baits as we've had a pretty warm winter and lack of snow has me convinced that these bears are going to be up early looking for food. So to settle the debate, the only way you can find out is if you go out and try. So I'm going to set up and see what happens. I wanted to bring you guys along with me on this journey just to show you guys why I set up at this location, what I was looking for on Google Maps to draw me here. When I got here, what I found that I liked about the area, and what I'm doing in the bait site itself to bring success for more shot opportunities, and what I'm using to bait the bears in. So I'm no pro by any means, but I've had success in this bait site for 3 years running now, and I just want to show you what I'm doing behind the scenes in hopes that I might pass on something new and something that might bring you guys success as well. So I got to unload this snow machine by myself as I'm all alone today on this adventure, so that should be a little interesting. So let's get this thing offloaded and head up that trail. Alright, I just wanted to go over real quick with you guys some items that you should bring in when establishing a new bait site, and I also bring in when I'm going into my bait sites that are already established for the first time in the year. So one of the main things you want to bring with you is a chainsaw. They're really good for cutting logs that have crossed the trail that weren't there before. You want to bring your fuel for your chainsaw. You want to bring a ratchet strap. You want to bring some material to make your caution bear bait signs, a felt pen to write on them. I always like to have a handsaw, also a limb cutter so that you can clear your shooting lanes. I bring it with me just in case I decide to move my tree stand from the year prior. You've all heard of beaver cages. A lot of guys have different ideas of what they use for beaver cages. I'm trying a dog kennel this year. I've had some criticism about it, whether it's going to be tough enough, but it was a cheap solution. I'm going to try it out, see what happens. You want to set up your tree stand. Bring your ladders for your tree stand, your trail camera to monitor what's going on, and I always like to bring a rangefinder as well, just to make sure I've got a good tree chosen within my bow distance that I'm comfortable with, and then obviously the bait, and I'll go over the bait once we get into the site. So that's pretty much it. A knife as well is good, some rope, and whatever else you think is important to bring with you, but those are generally the items that I bring along, and it helps me out quite well. So let's head up that trail. All right, I made it into the site here, and as you could tell from the ride in, it was pretty sketchy. There wasn't a lot of snow, so thought I might have made the wrong choice bringing the snow machine, but once I got deeper in here, I quickly realized it was the right choice because there's still quite a bit of snow back here, and I don't think the quad or the trike would have quite made it. So If that's one thing I can offer you as an advice, I have in the past tried to use the trike or the quad to get into these bait sites early on in the spring, and it's always left me frustrated with getting stuck and taking a lot longer than it needed to. So I've had to actually ditch the quads and hike everything in. So this year I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go with the snow machine, and I'm glad I did, because here we are, and we're ready to go. So should be a quick setup and then head home. Okay, so now on to the reason why I chose this area. So it was a general area that I've always wanted to hunt. So what I did is I went on Google Maps and used the satellite option to just kind of overlook everything. And the first thing that I was looking for is where is the water source? So I quickly found a good water source that I felt like would be a good huntable area. And then once I found that water source, I kind of started looking at, is there any cut lines and trails and things that I could use to get into this place not too hard to get into. So once I had those trails kind of narrowed down, a good water source, all that was left then was to put the feet to the path and come up in here and see for myself what I had. So one thing that I wanted to see when I got in here is big timber. I think it's important that you choose areas that are going to have big timber, because big timber serves two purposes. One, you're going to be able to hang your tree stands and hunt out of them. And two, it creates a sense of security for the bears, because they are going to want something they can climb in case they're in danger. So I think that's very important. I have in the past hunted small timber areas, areas that didn't have trees large enough for bears to climb, and it was waste of time. I never ever did see a bear in those areas when set up, so I just stay away from those altogether now, and I find the big timber to be more successful. The other thing I want to know is, does the timber in here create a good canopy of cover for winter hibernation, and then also for spring, summer, and fall kind of hangout where they're going to feel comfortable and safe. And this area definitely provided that. It's a good mix between spruce and poplar, a lot of fall, deadfall, which is going to create some good canopies. So there was another check off the list. And then the third thing I think that you want to be able to see is there food sources in here? Is there wild berries? And this place, again, checked that off. I could see bear scat coming in here, so I already knew bear were using this area. So that's all the kind of signs you want to see when you're walking into an area, that you might want to know that you're in a good area and that you might feel comfortable about setting up in. That's not going to waste your time. So now that we've got that out of the way, that's the reason why I chose this area. I just wanted to show you where I set up my tree stand and why I put it there. All right, so now that you've got this area all scoped out, you like it, you're dead set on you're going to hunt in this area, you're happy with everything you've seen, the next things you want to decide are what tree are you going to hunt out of and what tree you're going to anchor your bait to. And I like that distance to be about 20 yards away from each other. I'm comfortable at 20 yards, I'm comfortable at 30 yards, but I don't think you need to be 30 yards out. 20 is plenty. For the tree that I'm going to hunt out of, I like to find a group of trees, like I'm standing in front of right now. My tree stand is up right above me here. So I like a group of trees for a few different reasons. One is I self-film, so I like a second tree to put my camera arm off of. It just makes it easier for me to be able to adjust everything and get everything going while hunting. I also like a third tree to hang my, my backpack and my bow off of. And then I also like the group of trees because it breaks up your outline and it also conceals your movements a little bit more. Just a few good reasons why a group of trees I feel is better than hanging off of like one tree kind of out in the open. So I think it's preference, but that's the reason why I choose groups of trees. And then again, like I said, about 20 yards away from my tree that I'm going to anchor my bait to. That for me doesn't really matter as long as it's a good solid tree that the bear can't rip out of the ground. Is good enough for me. So let's have a look at that tree now and fill up the barrel, and I'll show you guys what I'm using the bait. Alright, so here's the barrel and the tree. Like I said, about 20 yards away from my tree stand setup. A nice big tree that I've got it anchored to. What I use is a steel barrel. I've had this one for 4 seasons now. It's held up great. And I just anchor to the tree with a ratchet strap, and it's never been an issue for me. I've got a hole on each side, 180 degrees from each other, about 6 by 6 square, just enough for the bear to get his paw in and eat. That way they're not needing to destroy the barrel to get at it. And with it being anchored and having them 180 degrees from each other, it causes the bear to come in at a broadside shot. So I think that's the most important thing when you're setting up, is always keep in mind what you're setting up and the shot opportunity it's going to present. I think anchoring the barrel to the tree is a little advantage over like letting it be chained up to a tree that's loose and rolling around, because when it's rolling around, it's unpredictable what the bear is going to do with it, and it's going to make you wait a little bit longer for a shot opportunity and maybe even less opportunity for a shot. I have found good success anchoring it to the tree, cutting my holes 180 degrees from each other, and then having it perpendicular to my setup in the stand. That way the bear has to come in at a broadside shot to get the food out of the barrels. So it's worked very well for me. I haven't found a need to set up any logs in the back like a wall to guide them in. I've seen people do it. It does work. I just haven't had to do that as a result of the way I set my barrel. So that's pretty much it for the barrel. It's worked very well for me. So now let's go over what I'm putting in the barrel and what I'm using to bait in these bears. All right, so some of the items I've found good success in baiting with is popcorn. I get it by the bag, $10 a bag. It's cheap, it's light. You can get lots of it if you got a good source. It's got a sweet flavor to it, salty flavor. It just works really well. I've actually seen bears just like few popcorns at a time eating this stuff. They love it. Can't go wrong with popcorn. So popcorn is definitely one of my main go-tos for baiting. So another good bait source is good old dog food. The bears just love this stuff. I find that it keeps them in here constantly. When I've got dog food in this bait, I often will push the bears off the bait when I'm coming in to refresh or to hunt. It just seems like it's a good source of everything they're looking for. So they just love it, and yeah, it works really well. It's cheap again as well, 10 bucks a big bag. So that's what's important about baiting, is finding that cheap source. So old dog food works great. Okay, and before I forget, one thing you want to remember if you are going to use a barrel like mine, and you're going to have these holes on the sides, you're going to want to stuff logs in them just to make sure that no other critters that you don't want stealing your bait steals it. Things like ravens and whatnot. So I usually just find a bunch of deadfall and I just start stacking them inside the hole, tight enough that only a bear would be able to take it out, and then you know you've got bears hitting it just by coming in and seeing those logs out. All right, and the next thing that I like to put into my baits is some dirty old greasy fryer oil. This stuff is awesome. It's free if you got a good source. People like to just give it away, and it stinks. Like it is just nasty stuff. So it works really well in the sense that it gets the scent going out far into the bush, but it also acts, if you put it around the barrel, on the ground around the barrel, then the bears are going to come in, they're going to step in it, they're going to get it all over their paws, all over their fur, and then they're going to take it out into the bush where they go for the day or whatever in between feeds. And then if any other bear crosses their path, that bear is going to be curious and come into your bait site as well. It works very well for bringing bears into your site. So if you can get your hands on it, definitely do and use it because it's nasty. One thing that I'll advise you is use it at the very end, because if you do not do that, you'll get it all over your boots. You'll be trucking in it. So make sure you got your bait all set up before you lay this stuff on the ground. All right, last but not least, I've got this dog kennel that I'm going to use as a beaver cage this year. I'm going to give it a shot. Never done this before. I've always just used this bucket that's hanging behind me, so I'm setting it up just in case this cage doesn't work. But it's pretty good. I got it anchored to the tree here. My door is at the top, so I can put the beavers and everything inside there. I don't have beavers to put in for today. I've just got a rabbit carcass and some scraps from gutting my deer. So we'll put that in here anyway. Next time I come in, I'll be bringing a beaver carcass up with me. So let's fill it up. All right, there it is. A few pieces of meat in there just to get the bears licking their chops. And I don't know, we'll see if it works or not. I won't be afraid to say that it doesn't work. If it doesn't, I'll keep you posted on this little experiment. And we're pretty much done here. Last thing I want to talk to you about is the trail camera, and then we're done. So let's check it out. All right, so the last thing that I do before I leave my bait site is I set my trail camera up. And from experience, you definitely want to go out and get yourself a bear box for your camera. I have in the past set up a trail camera in here without that, and I lost that camera pretty quick. So save your hard-earned money, protect your trail cameras, go out and get a bear box, and you'll be thankful that you did. It'll allow you to get good photos and footage without destroying your camera. So anyways, last thing is make sure you post your signs, caution bear bait, and anything that applies to your regulations. Here in Alberta, we got to have our wind card, tag number, and name on a sign, so make sure you have all that stuff up before you leave, and make sure you follow your regulations. So thanks for joining me in this adventure. It was a lot of fun setting up my bear bait and taking you behind the scenes to show you what I think is successful. I'm not a professional by any means. You might know a little more than I do. Share in the comments below if you have some tips for myself. I'm always open to hearing new ideas. So until next time, hunt safe, have fun, and God bless.